Hello everyone and welcome back to Scoop and Poop with Vivian without makeup in a while. Honestly, I don't wear that much makeup on a daily basis. Sometimes I like it because it's fun, but I'm just way too freaking lazy today. So you're going to look at potato me. My skin is like so bad recently. Like honestly, I have like a 12-step skincare routine. How could you? I apologize if I look super sweaty and awkward and just on camera because I just finished setting up my Tegu's enclosure and that took my entire Labor Day weekend, so and it was just not fun, but that is done and a video will be coming out on that pretty freaking soon. Also, speaking of, super sorry for all of the inconsistent upload schedules. I feel like, time management in general has been kind of hard, and that's just an excuse, I guess. But I am sorry for all the weird upload times, but I am trying to be more consistent and at least have one upload a week. So I do apologize, but I am trying to work on it. So today I'm gonna do a video that not anybody particularly requested, but I have been getting requests for bearded dragon care and also blue tongue skink care. So today I decided to kill two birds with one stone. Actually, don't do that, that's not vegan. And I'm going to cover both topics by doing a bearded dragon versus blue tongue skink video, a fight to the death. I'll be comparing the care between bearded dragons and blue tongue skinks so you guys can decide what is the best reptile for you. So the first reptile we're covering are bearded dragons. This here is Cactus, if you guys don't already know him. He is my beautiful, rescued, mystery-aged bearded dragon. He's very, very grumpy right now because brumation season is kind of heading over and he's also shedding. So he's gonna hate me, but sitting on my shoulder, I think he'll be okay. So we're gonna be covering three aspects of care for both species, and the first one is going to be housing/enclosure. So both bearded dragons and blue tongue skinks have very similar housing requirements when it comes to the size. For a bearded dragon, the considered minimum is a 40-gallon breeder. This is considered the minimum. However, most people think that 75 gallons and up is a lot better, and 125 gallons is considered to be a really good ideal size. And the enclosure I have him in is 125 gallons. Now, bearded dragons are considered a desert species. They like hot temperatures and dried, arid climates. Naturally, they're actually from certain parts of Australia, so it is really hot and dry where they live. When it comes to substrates, contrary to popular belief, they do not just live on piles and piles of sand in the wild, and they certainly shouldn't be just given straight up sand in their enclosure. In my opinion, the best substrate to be used with bearded dragons is tile. You can go to Home Depot and pick up enough tile for your entire cage for under $5. You never have to replace it, and you can clean it very easily by wiping it down. Be free. They do like hot temperatures, but it's nothing unreasonable, unlike certain species like an Aromastyx or even a Tegu. Bearded dragons are considered semi-arboreal. They have these giant, beautiful claws. Beautiful, you don't want to show them their claws, so that they can actually climb on certain things, but they certainly aren't, like a crested gecko or something. But if you give them some low wooden pieces or rocks, they certainly will climb on it. So when it comes to enrichment, you could definitely have plenty of different toys in their cage, and they will definitely use it. But yeah, bearded dragon enclosures are usually pretty simplistic, and as long as you have the room for a medium-sized enclosure and you can maintain the heat, then you're going to be fine. Now let's talk about UVB really quickly. Bearded dragons need UVB in order to survive, and we're not talking about little UVB bulbs, we're talking about those strip light thingies. Either a T5 or a T8 strip light UVB is definitely necessary for a bearded dragon. If you don't want to go with a strip light, you can also go with a mercury vapor bulb, and what? You can go with a mercury vapor bulb and that works out as well, but make sure you definitely have a source of UVB or else they will die and you will cry and I will laugh at you. That was kind of harsh. Just make sure you have UVB. So now here I have my blue tongue skink and his name is Malum. He's a little bit wet right now because I just sprayed him down with a water bottle and he's constantly pissed at everyone, so he seems a bit, Satan-y. That's because he is Satan. Now, a quick note before going on, Malum is a Maruki. No, he's not. No, he's not. Yes, he is. What? Malum. No, he's not. Wait, what? Oh my god, I can't believe I literally just blanked out. He is a Halmahera blue tongue skink. How do I, what? What? So his care is going to be different than a northern or a Indonesian blue-tongued skink. He is of the Indonesian species, but he has special care requirements, aka super duper high humidity. So that's just a quick note. So not all blue-tongued skinks will be as high maintenance as this little snake with legs. Enclosure Wise blue-tongued skinks have the same minimum as bearded dragons, which is a 40-gallon breeder enclosure. I currently have Malum in a 75-gallon, and that seems to work super well for him, especially due to the fact that Halmaheras stay relatively small. He still has some growing to do, but he is definitely tiny compared to most northerns and also Marukis. Well, when it comes to substrate, things will be a little bit different for northern species or Indonesian species. But since he is an Indonesian blue-tongued skink, I will be covering them instead. Now, like bearded dragons, it's not recommended to keep them on sand because sand really just isn't good for the majority of reptiles. Instead, the best substrates for them are things that they will be able to burrow in and things that will hold in humidity well. So examples are coconut fiber and also cypress mulch, and also things like reptile bark if you prefer. For mine, I have a mixture of coconut fiber, cypress mulch, and also sphagnum moss, just to keep humidity high. When it comes to their lighting, there is debate on whether or not blue-tongued skinks require UVB lights. However, due to the evidence, most of the time people find that with UVB, they actually are more vibrant, they have more energy, and they tend to digest and just function better. Now, with the current evidence we have, UVB lighting might not be a necessity for them to survive, but it certainly makes your life better, so I still recommend it. And it'll be just the same as the bearded dragon, a T5 or T8 UVB bulb, but instead of a higher output like 10%, I think you could probably get away with a 5%. Their basking temperatures are slightly lower than bearded dragons, although they still need a basking light just so that they can warm up and cool down efficiently. So unlike bearded dragons, they are definitely not arboreal at all. Have you seen these legs? No, not gonna work. Stop. Don't even try. I'm so sorry. So essentially that means that the majority of their enrichment has to be low and not high. Things you can use are half wooden logs. You can use cork bark. You can use different pieces of wood, driftwood. You can use plants, and you can use a bunch of things that provide foliage. Now, the second criteria we are covering is the diet of the animal. Bearded dragons are omnivores, meaning that they'll eat plant matter and animal matter. However, they're not quite as opportunistic as blue-tongued skinks. The majority of their vegetable portion is actually going to be made out of insects. And this has to be live, gut-loaded insects, not dead, canned stuff. No, don't do that. A bunch of insects they can eat include dubia roaches, superworms, waxworms as treats, crickets, hornworms, and a bunch of others. Just make sure that all your insects are high quality and that you're giving them a huge variety. You don't just want to feed them 1 or 2 insects for the rest of your lives. Instead, you want to provide as many possibilities as possible. Possibly. They also require vegetables, and this is kind of the difficult part when it comes to bearded dragons because they are little shits who won't eat their freaking veggies. At least cactus can be like that sometimes, but he has improved. With vegetables, you want to avoid all types of lettuces, but instead include a bunch of greens like turnip greens, mustard greens, collard greens, and more. You can also include other types of vegetables such as squash, carrot, and also different fruits as well. Just make sure you always search up to see if the vegetable is safe for your bearded dragon before giving it to them. Most adults do well on a 75 to 25% ratio for vegetables and insects, with vegetables being the majority. But throughout their different life stages, babies and juveniles will require more insects than vegetables. And of course, you want to supplement all their food, and I will have a reptile supplementation guide up there so you can go watch that and get your facts straight. Now let's move on to diet. Like bearded dragons, they are omnivores, but they're super duper opportunistic, meaning that they are living, breathing garbage disposals, and they'll pretty much eat everything. Now they can eat the same insects as bearded dragons, but the majority of blue-tongued skinks also do well on different types of meat. This could be high quality cat food, dog food, ground turkey, or it can be fish. Again, they do well with variety, and one of their favorite types of meat are actually snails. With vegetables, it's going to be the same thing, but I find it's easier to feed them vegetables when everything is chopped up so they can just, swallow it in this disgusting, weird meat vegetable paste. With their food, you also want to supplement. I don't have a supplementation video on them yet, but that will be coming out at some point probably. Now they do eat differently compared to Ow! Oh my god. Now they do eat differently compared to bearded dragons. Bearded dragons kind of strike and swallow, while they like to just Now the last aspect we're talking about is their behavior. So bearded dragons are considered the king of chill. They have zero fucks to give at this point in their lives. They are literally living, breathing rocks, and they could care less. They have no opinions, and they just want to sleep, eat, poop, and bask. That's all they want. But that's an excellent thing for an owner, because that means that wherever you put them, the majority of the times, they don't really have an opinion on it, and they'll just chill on you and just be perfectly fine. Just ASMR. A lot of people will take out their bearded dragons for half an hour a day and just have them chill on their desk, on their shoulder, or perhaps they have a playpen to let them run around, but bearded dragons aren't incredibly active. In fact, the majority of the time they will stay in their favorite places in the cage, usually their basking spot and a cold hide, and they'll just switch throughout the day, take a poop, eat some food. It's a pretty simple schedule, and they definitely form a routine, so that's really cute. The majority of bearded dragons do not mind being handled at all. In fact, some of them even seem to crave attention. Cactus, he will literally knock on the glass for me to take him out, which is pretty cute, and he usually does this after he poops, because I don't think he can stand the smell either, so he'll just knock to let me know that he took a shit and he wants me to clean it up for him. They are quite intelligent lizards. They won't exactly learn tricks or anything, but they definitely can establish a routine and recognize their owners, and they know when they're about to get attention or get fed, and they know how to manipulate you into giving it to them. Now let's talk about their behavior. Now most people agree that blue-tongued skinks are also more mild-mannered, but because they are a little bit more intelligent, they like to form opinions. So usually they'll be a little bit more temperamental on the way you hold them, where you put them, and they like to explore a lot more because of their higher intelligence. It's a good thing because you get a more inquisitive animal, but a bad thing because if you do something they don't like, they'll hurt you, or scream, or do something annoying, like small children. Also, just a quick note, I find that Malum's nails are so much sharper than Cactus, and so if you could just see my arm, just from holding him, like, that's not good. And it's really hard to clip his nails because his hands are so freaking small, like, how? Another thing involving behavior, while bearded dragons are constantly out in the open, just switching spots, blue-tongued skinks actually like to bury themselves alive. So what they'll do is that the majority of the time, it's kind of like having a cage filled with dirt and nothing else in it, and you just stare at dirt until your baby decides to come out. But that's not necessarily always a bad thing. I mean, they'll usually leave you alone. Malum never like scratches on the glass to ask to be, held or anything like that. He doesn't crave attention as much as Cactus does. It can be a good thing if you're not It could be a good thing if you can't constantly be there to let out your lizard when they ask you to. So that was today's video, and I'll let you guys decide which animal you like more. In my opinion, I feel like I have more fun owning a bearded dragon, but at the same time, they are harder to take care of because they seem to be a little bit more high maintenance. Although Malum is really nice and fun, I find that my level of interaction is significantly decreased, and so that makes them a little bit less enjoyable. That sounds so bad. But no, I definitely do love them both, so in the end, it's up for you guys to decide which one is for you. I'm gonna go cover myself in band-aids now because Malum has definitely caused damage to my body. But make sure you like the video and also subscribe to join the poop scooping family, and I'll see you in the next video I make.